This video is sponsored by Rosetta Stone.
Culture.
Names.
Chocolate.
Style.
Dark humor. Hey guys, I'm Eric.
And I'm Grace. We're the Wandering Ravens.
We're an American couple with a deep passion for all things British, except for Marmite. And so if you want to get weekly UK culture content in your life, make sure that you subscribe down below for new videos every Saturday. And because this video is akin to treason, we decided to make it easier for us by partaking in a centuries-old British tradition, day drinking. Right, now that we're on the sauce, let's dive in and start talking about all the things the UK does better than the USA.
But before we begin, as Eric mentioned that he does not like Marmite yet, for every like we get on this video, I will continue force-feeding him a spoonful of Marmite.
Cheers. The first thing that comes to mind when I'm thinking about things the UK does better than America is butter.
That's literally the first thing.
That's the first thing.
Okay. I mean, I agree, but extrapolate on this, please.
In the UK, you have lots of really high quality Irish butter in your grocery stores or shops. Here, it is really expensive to get, but in the UK, you can get it so cheap because it's not being shipped across an ocean, and I really appreciate that.
You guys have butter that just tastes better. So your British butter is better.
So since we're drinking alcohol, another alcohol thing is I think the UK does cider a lot better than America does, because there's so much variety in every shop, in every corner store in the UK. So many different kinds of cider. But here in the States, we've been to a whole bunch of different stores, and the only cider we've yet found after being here for months is Angry Orchard.
I think because you got introduced to cider in the UK, you just might always prefer British cider over American cider, because people say, you never forget your first.
And it was Strongbow. Strongbow was my first.
Strongbow was your first?
Yeah. Started with the finest cider in
Strongbow.
Britain. Strongbow. Can't beat that. But in the meantime, hey!
In the meantime, we'll make it work. Piggybacking off of the cider one, I think another thing the UK does better than the US is pubs. This isn't even subjective. Objectively, it is true that the UK does pubs better than the USA.
To change course completely, another thing that just came to mind, I think that the UK does eco-friendly stuff a lot better, in the sense that the cars are smaller and more eco-friendly, but also there's just more cultural awareness about being green.
Yeah, taking reusable bags to the shop, not using plastic bags. Your produce bags in the UK are biodegradable.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
That is so cool.
And then there's just a lot more of an awareness that we need to be kind to the planet in the UK, and it's not really linked to any sort of political affiliations.
Yeah, at least not that we're aware of.
Not that we're aware of.
UK versus USA. Culture, who does it better?
How are you defining culture?
Just like a sense of cultural identity.
Ooh, I would say it is probably stronger in the UK. I mean, in America we have certain things that define us, but it's less to do with culture and more to do with ideas. So for us, our culture is kind of encapsulated in certain ideas.
It's values.
Yeah, values.
Yeah, over shared cultural things. Whereas in the UK, there's a lot of unifying cultural items, like certain songs or slang or food items, cultural dishes.
Yes, okay, so like the show, I think it's a TV series called Very British Problems. That is something that we could not do in America. We couldn't have a Very American Problems.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
Nobody, like there would be some people who would resonate with that, but then many people would not. So I
Yeah.
think that kind of goes to show that the cultural identity is definitely stronger in the UK than it would be in the States.
I'm gonna bat this question off to you guys. What do you think American culture is? What do you think British culture is? And which one is better and why?
Better or more defined?
More defined. Yeah, I don't mean better in the sense of like one is actually superior. I mean better in the sense of one has those earmarks of culture, like music and theater and dance and art and all of that sort of stuff.
To continue the conversation about things that the UK does better than the USA, let's talk about scones.
So are you saying the UK does them better?
Absolutely. Okay, so you guys over there, you have mastered the secret, and I don't know what it is. There must be some magic in your flour. A little bit.
Well, you've made scones.
Yes!
I mean, get that right. She has made scones
I
today.
have made scones today, but the problem is, for some reason, no matter how hard I try, they're just not as good over here as they are over there. Do not even look at them. They are an embarrassment. I don't know what it is about being in the UK, but for some reason when I bake them over there, they taste better, and then anywhere you eat them, they are good. Whereas here, it's very much hit or miss. If we went to like a cafe, for instance, we could order a scone and it might be terrible. Whereas in the UK...
We have not met a bad scone in the UK.
I do not agree with your pronunciation of this word, but we will continue. For the record, where I'm from in the UK, I call it a scone.
And where I'm from, we pronounce it scone. Irony. Is the UK more ironic?
I think you guys just use it better.
Another area in which irony is stronger in the UK than in the USA is when it comes to home decor. According to Watching the English, a big thing in the UK is ironic home decor. That would be like putting a garden gnome in your garden, not because you like garden gnomes, but because it's ironic to have a garden gnome. That is something I had never seen here in the States, is someone being ironic with their home decor.
In the States, we usually do things in earnest. To go off in a completely different direction and discuss the next thing that the UK does better than the USA, let's talk about electricity.
Shocking!
Shocking!
Shocking. Explain what you mean.
In the States, something that very commonly happens is we will get power outages that sometimes last for many hours. We've been informed by many British people that this is a far less common occurrence in the UK.
Yeah.
And it's due to how you guys have your electric wiring.
Yeah, because here in the States, we run electricity to the homes and businesses with overground wires on electricity poles. And so whenever there's a windstorm or a car hits a pole or a tree falls down, that's what causes the power outages.
And in the UK, it doesn't really seem that that's as big of an issue because you don't run the wires above ground.
What about authors? UK versus USA, who has the better authors? Because immediately what comes to mind is Dickens, Jane Austen, Tolkien, yeah, Beatrix Potter.
C.S. Lewis.
Yeah.
We did grow up reading a lot of British authors. Like many of the classics are written by British people. And so naturally I would be inclined to say that, oh, all of the historically great authors came from the UK. However, I do think like we had Fitzgerald and Hemingway.
We also have a lot of poets in America. So all of the lake poets. Yeah.
And Louisa May Alcott.
Okay, so I guess an argument could be made that the UK has better authors, but that's due to age. The UK's been around a lot longer, so you guys are able to have Shakespeare and Beowulf. Beowulf's not an author, I know. The States is a lot younger, and so our authors are more recent, and consequently we don't have as many. So I guess if you're doing volume, UK would win.
UK has more. Kind of going hand in hand with authors, because it's very related to culture, is museums. Where would you say does museums better?
Now that's actually a tough one because we have been to a lot of museums in London. The British Museum is by far one of the best museums in the world. Such a cool museum. If I were to rank the Louvre and the British Museum, I say the British Museum wins every time. But UK versus USA, this is tough because the USA does have a lot of really, really, really good museums, like all the Smithsonians, so many science museums. Every city has a massive art museum. So with museums, I think it would actually not be the UK.
We're definitely going to get some pushback on that one.
If you disagree with us, let us know down in the comments. But let's move on to something which is a clear, absolute win. Public transportation.
Yes, your guys' public transportation in the UK, it wins. Because we've been on public transportation in quite a few major US cities, and it just, oh man, it is not great. Yeah, it's often very late, it's often extremely dirty.
Very dirty.
Very dirty, very smelly, and it doesn't feel necessarily safe.
Like we're in Chicago, and I would not recommend someone ride the subway at night. Also, the ability to get from city to city or pretty much anywhere in the country with public transportation. You can't do that here. So I think this clear win, UK. Something else I think the UK does way better, and I'm sure all of you guys will agree with us, is dark humor.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about in the States, but we just cannot pull it off the same way.
A lot of American dark humor comics still haven't figured out how to do funny
And dark at the same time. I need to get down the art of swirling line. Oh, that looks good.
Yeah. The next thing, according to the statistics, another thing that the UK does better than the USA is speak foreign languages. Although if you've ever been to Spain on holiday, then you know that this advantage is pretty slim.
Yeah, both Brits and Yanks seem to think that speaking a foreign language just means speaking English slower. And here's the key part, louder.
So to do our part and to help Brits like you have a better time on holiday, it's time to talk about today's sponsor, Rosetta Stone.
When you travel, don't you just hate it when you catch locals whispering about how you're a few sandwiches short of a picnic? No? Is that just me? In any case, Rosetta Stone is a fantastic language learning service that ensures your brilliant British wit isn't lost in translation. For example, we've been using it to learn French. La souris est sur la table. Le chat est sur les chaises. Et les singes est sur les branches.
Je suis le président de Burundi. Rosetta Stone's intuitive app is ideal for busy folks on the go. So whether you're working from the bathroom, your bedroom, or even the kitchen, you'll be able to keep up with your language learning wherever you are.
My favorite feature is Rosetta Stone's advanced pronunciation software.
Ce jour est samedi.
Ce jour est samedi.
And the really exciting thing is that Rosetta Stone is giving all of our subscribers the opportunity right now to get lifetime access to all of their language learning courses for just $179.
Or, put another way, you can get over 250 hours of learning per language across 24 languages for just the price of 100 sausage rolls. Now that's a bargain.
To claim your lifetime unlimited subscription, click the link in the description of this video.
I just thought of another one. Names.
City names?
No, people names. People
Okay.
names, of course. There has been a recent trend in the States of naming your children names that are not names. And personally, I think that in the UK, parents do a little bit better of a job at naming their children a name that will get them respect rather than laughed at. I've heard of people naming their child Talon or Arrow or Fox.
Even worse, Legend. How is that kid ever going to introduce himself in a job interview?
Hi, my name is Legend and I'm an asshole. All that to say, I much more approve of the baby names that are popular in the UK. Jeffrey, Oliver, Thomas, Jack, John,
Richard,
Lucy, Elizabeth
the second.
If there's actually been a trend, though, of millennial British parents naming their children non-names, let us know, because we haven't seen that yet.
Another thing that I would add to the list would be accents.
Yes, I would have to agree, just because the level of diversity of accents and dialects in the UK is far greater, and also I just find it way more intriguing. Like, we only have a few distinct accents here in the States, and some of them aren't great.
Another thing which elevates the UK in terms of accents above the US is British people have the ability to talk with two accents. Most British people I've met have two accents. Like when you talk to an American, they only have one accent. They talk and that's what you get. But in the UK, people have two accents. They have their native accent from where they were born, and then they have their professional RP accent, for lack of a better word, kind of RP-ish.
You need to fix this problem. On that note, let us talk about the next thing that the UK does better than the USA, which is cheese.
Cheese! All right, make your case.
My case is this. The UK has better cheese than the USA. Full stop.
The jury has heard your argument, and we find you guilty of being correct.
It's not necessarily that in the UK you have more, because in the US we do have a fair amount of different types of cheese.
We get a lot of cheese. It's not like we get a lot of comments about how Americans and their cheese in a can. But honestly, I have never in my life seen anyone own cheese in a can or eat cheese out of a can. Wait, did you?
I mean, I never ate it, but it was in the fridge.
Oh my gosh, for shame.
So, some Americans sometimes own cheese in a can.
But it's not common. It's not as common as you guys would think. You can find the nice stuff. Like, it's not like the UK has a monopoly on blue Roquefort cheese. You just have to go to special stores, usually things like Whole Food, Trader Joe's, expensive stores.
Posh stores. Another thing that I think the UK does better than the USA is travel. Maybe it's just like your guys' proximity to the rest of Europe that makes traveling more accessible or easier, but I generally think that more British people travel than Americans.
I think I'm actually gonna push back on this one. I know that it is really common to say that British people travel more than Americans do, because more British people do on a passport. But I think this statistic is unfair to Americans in that the USA is about the size of 1,000 UKs. Americans, I feel Americans do travel a lot. It's just within the state. Like your family every year goes on holiday, but it's just within the states.
Yeah.
They would not be frequent travelers, but they do drive 9 hours to get to their holiday. And that would be like the equivalent of driving from London past Paris.
Yeah, that's true. These statistics are, I think, a little bit skewed, you're right, but more British people do travel internationally. So I will stand by my word that I think British people travel more than Americans.
And another topic which we've talked about in the past and we disagree on, but I think we're actually on opposite sides as the travel one, is chocolate. When it comes to chocolate, I think that the UK's chocolate is better than American chocolate, but specifically cheap chocolate. Like, I'm not talking about top tier, because I do think that American top tier chocolate and British top tier chocolate are pretty comparable. If you're willing to pay £4 or $4 for a bar of chocolate, then on either side of the pond, that chocolate's gonna be pretty comparable in quality. But when we're talking about like Hershey's versus Cadbury, I'm gonna go with Cadbury and say Cadbury's way better.
I agree and disagree with you. I do agree Cadbury is definitely better than Hershey's, but I think that if you're doing top tier chocolates, like expensive chocolates, I would actually say America has better expensive chocolates than the UK.
See, this is the disagreement.
Yeah, so
explain.
like we have a lot of different like local artisan chocolate shops. Like in Seattle, we have Fran's and then we also have Theo's, and they produce really, really good chocolate. And I don't think I've had anything of the same quality in the UK. Sorry. Another brief thing that I'll just mention that I think the UK does better than the USA is style. So I think the level of looking put together is much greater in the UK. So like your average
style?
Yeah,
is what we're
clothing
talking about?
style. So your average person just walking down the street, their chances of looking put together and like a functional adult are much higher if they're in the UK than if they're in the USA.
Now, are you sure you want to draw that line in the sand? Because we've been to Northampton.
Oh. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Another thing that I think the UK does a lot better than the USA is Twitter. And I don't mean the average Joe. I'm talking specifically about corporations and businesses on Twitter. Something that you guys have happen rather regularly over there in the UK is you'll have corporations and businesses tweeting at each other in this really humorous way, carrying on a joke, ribbing each other, taking the piss out of each other in a way that doesn't quite happen as common over here.
In the US, I think Twitter is much more of a political shitstorm.
And speaking of Twitter, we just got a Twitter account. So here is our handle. Why don't you swing on by and join the Wandering Raven's Nest? Now I want to turn the conversation over to you. Here, let me pour you some wine. Stop by the comments, let us know what are some things that you would add to today's video. What are things that you think the UK does better than the USA? And stay tuned, because this is actually a two-part video. Today we're talking about things the UK does better, but next Saturday we're coming back with another video talking about what the US does better. So if you want to feel upset and emotionally distraught, stay tuned.
So make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss next week's video. And also, while you're at it, if you haven't already, make sure you click the like button to feed the YouTube algorithm and so that I can continue feeding Eric spoonfuls of Marmite. And a special thank you to our top tier patrons, Chris and Simon, for making videos like this possible.
Cheers.
Cheers.
To Chris and Simon. And of course, don't forget to click the link from Rosetta Stone down in the description. Until next time, I'm Eric.
And I'm Grace.
We're the Wandering Ravens.
And we'll see you in the next video.
Ta-ta for now.